Welcome to Mental Models Daily, where we explore one mental model each day to help you elevate your daily decision-making. Today, we're diving into a fascinating cognitive quirk that affects us all: blind spot bias. Blind spot bias is our tendency to recognize cognitive biases in others while failing to see them in ourselves. It's like having a mirror with a permanent smudge that only appears when other people look into it. This mental model is particularly tricky because the more convinced we are that we're immune to biases, the more likely we are to fall prey to them. It's a meta-bias, a bias about our other biases, making it one of the most challenging cognitive distortions to overcome. Let's look at a historical example that perfectly illustrates this concept. During the Cold War, both American and Soviet intelligence agencies were convinced that their own analyses were objective, while the other side's views were clouded by ideology. Declassified documents show that both sides often misinterpreted each other's actions due to their own biases, while remaining certain of their own objectivity. It's like two people wearing different coloured glasses, each convinced they're seeing the true colours of the world, while the other person's vision is distorted. In the modern business world, blind spot bias frequently appears in performance reviews and workplace dynamics. Studies show that while 95% of managers believe they're objective in evaluating employee performance, a significant percentage demonstrate unconscious biases in their assessments. Consider how often leaders believe they make decisions based purely on data and merit, while outside observers can clearly see the influence of personal preferences and unconscious prejudices. It's like being convinced you're reading a map right side up when others can see it's upside down. So, how can we apply our understanding of blind spot bias in our daily lives? First, we can practice intellectual humility by regularly asking ourselves, what if I'm wrong? When you feel absolutely certain about something, that's precisely the moment to pause and consider alternative viewpoints. It's like developing a habit of checking your blind spots before changing lanes, a small effort that can prevent major collisions. Second, we can actively seek out feedback from diverse sources. Create an environment where others feel safe pointing out your potential biases. This might mean having a bias buddy, someone you trust to give you honest feedback about your blind spots. It's like having multiple mirrors that show you angles of yourself you can't see on your own. Third, we can keep a decision journal that documents not just what we decide, but why we decide it. By recording our thought process and reviewing it later, we can start identifying patterns in our thinking that might reveal hidden biases. It's like creating a map of our mental terrain, complete with the unmarked territories we tend to overlook. In conclusion, blind spot bias reminds us that self-awareness is a journey, not a destination. By acknowledging that we're not as objective as we think we are, we can begin to make more balanced decisions and develop more authentic relationships. In a world where everyone thinks they're above average at recognizing their own biases, true wisdom starts with accepting our own limitations. Thank you for joining me today on Mental Models Daily. Until next time, may your self-reflection be honest, your humility be genuine, and your awareness extend beyond your blind spots. For more mental models, please visit mentalmodelsdaily.com or find us on X or Instagram. Our podcast music was provided by the podcasthost.com and Alitu, the podcast maker. Find your own free podcast music over at thepodcasthost.com/free music.